Welcome to the Green Zone Podcast, the show that teaches oil and gas executives how to take command of their finances and live in the green. Your host, Jeff Green, from Green Financial Group, will be your financial guide, all while giving you a tour of the most beloved and best-kept secret spots around Houston, Texas. Now, on to the show.
Traditions make us smile. Holidays prompt us to give thanks. Jeff Green, Lauren Smith, and some of the folks they work with at Green Financial Group have some thoughts to share on traditions and thanks. Jeff?
Love a good holiday tradition, Patrice.
I know this will be a fun podcast. No finance talk, just fun holiday traditions.
So we've all got traditions out there, right? And we all go through our holidays, and sometimes we complain about some of the traditions, but sometimes they're really good, and we really look forward to them.
It's what makes the holidays the holidays.
Yeah, I love them. So we got the team together, right? So we got Hillary and Claire and Melanie, and of course us. We'll go around the room, and we're going to talk about some traditions. And I thought, well, I'll go first, okay? I'll just set the stage here. And
all right, I can't wait to see what you got.
Well, this is a little off color. I'm not going to lie, but it's kind of funny. I thought it was funny. Not everybody may think this is funny, but you remember the little elf on the shelf? You remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Elf on the Shelf, I think it's still around, right?
It's definitely still around.
Still around. So, when the boys were little, I got 3 boys who everybody knows, or they're much older now. They don't, I think they know Santa's not real at this point.
He's not real.
Anyway, so we had this Elf on the Shelf. And of course, their mother would do the most elaborate things. She'd be, the shelf would be on the counter with a flour, and they're making cookies when they wake up in the morning. They're like, oh, this is magical. I can't believe the elf is making cookies for us. And it was always so sweet and nice and wholesome and all that. Well, and the boys loved it. It was a great, great thing. Well, one night I got a hold of the Elf on the Shelf, and I decided to come up with something a little different.
Oh, gosh.
So I put the elf on the seat of the toilet, right? Like he was throwing up. And I put some oatmeal in the toilet. I said, not everyone's going to like this one. And I told when the boys woke up and I saw the elf, he was throwing up. And I said, well, me and the elf hung out last night. The elf had a little too much holiday cheer. And this is how the elf ended up in the morning.
This podcast is taking a totally different direction than I thought it would.
Well, needless to say, I wasn't allowed to get a hold of the Elf on the Shelf anymore.
But there's entire websites out there of people that have done funny things with the elf, borderline inappropriate things. It's
poor elf.
Claire, are your kids old enough to be doing the Elf on the Shelf yet?
Someone just asked me this. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and we're choosing electively to not do the Elf on the Shelf this year because it adds some stress. You're supposed to move the elf every night.
Every day.
Every day. I don't want to do that.
Now with social media also, I feel like it's like a competition to do the most elaborate, elf. You can't just put the elf on the shelf. You got to put the elf on the toilet, throwing up oatmeal.
I know, Claire. Now you have a new idea for your elf.
Yes. So that'll be next year, though. I refuse to give into the stress of that this year. But just so you know, people have made companies based on this, where they'll sell you like a handbook and all the accessories for what your elf can do every day.
That's awesome.
So that you don't have to think about it. So that's
a $1 million idea.
That is a good idea. Really good. You don't happen to know the name of that book, do you?
No, I know there's some companies that pop up.
But you can go Google Elf on the Shelf book, probably, and come up with that, right?
And they send you the supplies and everything. How fun is that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So fun.
So since we got Claire going, let's go ahead, Claire. Why don't we hear what your traditions?
Yes. So I'm kind of, my favorite tradition, we're still developing them for kind of my new family with my husband and my kids and what that looks like. But some of my favorite traditions are with my parents and my sister and how we grew up. And, there's kind of that weird transition time when, me and my sister were no longer kids, but we were celebrating Christmas with our parents and kind of what does that look like if we're not going to talk about Santa? And so we started having what we called adult Christmas. And on Christmas Eve, we would go out to a really fancy dinner and get dressed up and, have wine because we were, old enough to be doing that. And then we'd have this, long leisurely dinner, go home, change into very embarrassing matching Christmas pajamas that my mom had bought us. And then we'd turn on the fire, maybe have another glass of wine, and we'd open all of our gifts, from each other and stuff at night. And so we'd have like kind of this really relaxing adult Christmas. But one of the
like
best,
that.
Yeah, I do too.
yeah. But one of the best things that meant is that Christmas morning was no longer like a wake up early, everyone has to cook and we all have to get together and everyone needs to be in a good mood to open their presents, right? Like
Yeah,
we
you do it
kind of
all the night
slept in.
before.
Yeah, we all slept in. We did have a big breakfast, but we were like drinking coffee in our matching PJs and there was no stress. So adult Christmas is the best.
I love that, especially, Christmas morning. I feel like there's some people want to get up and open the presents immediately. And then others, it's like, let's sleep in a little bit. So it kind of takes all of that off the table. And it's just, a relaxing Christmas morning. You kind of go at your own pace. That's great.
Yeah.
I love that. It's a good one, Claire.
Thanks.
I like it.
So do you think you will do that with your kids, or do you think you'll start doing Christmas morning?
No, one day when our kids are old enough, I want to recreate that because I've enjoyed it so much. But right now, when they're so little and, they're, finally just learning about Santa and understanding what happens, we're just getting into the thick of, Christmas morning and waking up at 5 a.m. and who knows what will happen. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so Lauren, do you have any traditions?
So we're a big foodie family. We love food, love to eat, love to drink. So I kind of, have a tradition with my mom and one with my dad. And my mom and I each year love to do baked goods. So Christmas and Thanksgiving, we're always finding new recipes. Unfortunately, I'm gluten-free. So we have to find really creative ways to make good holiday, baked goods, cookies and cakes and whatnot. But my dad and I always try to go for the eggnog. We have tried every year a different recipe for eggnog, and we've learned a lot over the years. We still have not perfected the recipe. I look forward to the challenge this year.
You had a different one this year. What was the one that you were?
Oh no, that was the recipe I was showing you. That's what my mom and I are going to make. It's a keto eggnog pie.
Oh, the eggnog pie.
It kind of combines, dad's eggnog with mom's baking. So we're going to kind of knock it all out.
The best of both worlds.
Yes, but with the eggnog, my dad and I have been through some good times together making our eggnog and some bad times together. There was one year where, when you're making eggnog, some recipes require you to heat the eggs. And obviously we know that heating eggs can result in fried eggs, scrambled eggs, a lot of things that you don't want in actual eggnog. So there was one incident that we talk about still from about 5 years ago where we had to strain out all of the scrambled eggs out of the eggnog mixture. And we were both like, we took a big sifter and we're like dumping the eggnog and watching it catch just this entire thing of scrambled eggs, and we're like, neither of us are excited to drink this eggnog. We don't want to try it. And we're, we both hold our nose and, kind of.
How was it?
It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. It was just very chunky eggnog. So
what, you got a recipe for this year?
Not yet. So that's
coming up.
That on Thanksgiving, I think we'll start to
TBD.
kind of figure out the recipe, and then we'll start trying that on Christmas.
Cool.
But then, so mom and I are going to try a keto eggnog pie this year. So that has the potential to be terrible and flavorless, or it could be good. So we'll see.
Cool. Now, Hillary, I know Hillary has lots of traditions out there. She shared one or two, and they were kind of funny. But so Hillary, what do you got for us? Give me one or two of your traditions, because
I know I hear Hillary is the queen of holiday traditions.
She's got some good ones.
Well, in my previous life before children, yes. Just like Claire, I've got an 18-month-old, so we don't have any traditions with our little family quite yet. But growing up, we always had a similar Christmas Eve. We did church and dinner and stopped by a party, but there was always a late night gathering at my parents' house with whoever our kind of family friends from around the neighborhood had in town. Sometimes it was in-laws, sometimes it was grandparents, new boyfriends, new girlfriends. Everybody kind of met up at our house around 10. And that usually turned into after dinner drinks and maybe some dessert, but always karaoke. So that has changed a little bit now that some of us have children, but this year, apparently it's happening.
Karaoke?
The karaoke party is on. Yeah.
I can't wait. What are you going to sing?
Yeah. Do you have a go-to karaoke song?
It's got to be Dancing Queen.
Yeah. Usually
I'm chiming in.
Greg takes the show and he acts like he's shy around these people he doesn't know very well, but It's usually my husband, Greg, and one of my uncles who Teenage Dream is his go-to. So we'll just leave it at that.
So are you going to hum a few bars for us now?
No.
She's resting up. She's resting up for the holidays.
Yeah, I've got to save that.
She's got to rest her vocals.
That's awesome. That's so fun.
Yeah, we have a fun Christmas Eve. And even though you'd think my 33-year-old older sister would be okay, waking up later to do gifts on Christmas morning, she still likes breakfast gifts to start around 7 a.m.
That's early.
Yes.
On Christmas morning.
Yeah.
Yes, after a big night.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Thank you for that, Hillary. So now we come to Melanie. So Melanie, I know you've got some good, got a great family, so give me a tradition.
Okay. We always watch the Thanksgiving Day parade at my grandma's house. Our favorite, I guess, segment would be the Rockettes. She would always take my sisters and I to see them when they came in town. And so that's kind of our favorite thing to do all together.
I love it.
Yeah.
So the Macy's Thanksgiving Holiday Parade. Yeah. We used to watch that one all the time too.
I know we did too. I feel like that's a lot of people's tradition at
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. It's just such a fun. I was in New York a couple of years and got to see them holding up the big balloons, and it's such a cool parade.
Yeah, don't lie to us. You've practiced those kicks before.
Oh,
with the
for
Rocket.
sure.
Yeah.
We're a family of all girls.
Right.
We love that.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Well, that's awesome. So that's the Green team, right? The Green Financial Group team, our little holiday traditions. Patrice, I'm gonna put you on the spot because I know you got I know you got a tradition or two. Share one with us.
Well, I suppose Christmas Day, the boys were growing up. Yes, we would watch the parade too. One year we actually went in to see the balloons inflated, which is wonderful. That's a really big experience up on the Upper East Side. And it's just getting up in the morning, having the presents opening and Christmas. Oh, I know. All right, it's coming to mind now. Cinnamon rolls. Must have cinnamon rolls for breakfast.
Like Christmas morning?
Yes, we must.
That
Always
sounds,
had
I
that.
love a good cinnamon roll.
Yep. Oh, I don't know if they were good, but we had them.
Yeah, that's awesome. You don't know if they're good.
How could they not be good?
Because they came out of a tube.
Oh, that's
Crack the
okay.
tube open, roll them up, throw them in the oven.
Oh,
we
still
always
good.
had those.
Well, that's great. So that's the holiday traditions here. I hope all you out there have great holiday traditions, great holidays. I guess this is going to come out sometime in December after Thanksgiving. So, but happy Thanksgiving. We're recording this Monday before Thanksgiving. So it'll get out there after Thanksgiving. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving.
And if anybody has any traditions out there that you want to share with us that, we can,
we'd love to hear
we can all
them.
try to adopt also. Let us know.
Yeah, we can incorporate. No big deal. It's okay to borrow traditions,
It
right?
is.
Yeah,
It is.
I think so.
Well, tell them where to send them. Tell them where to send them, how they can contact you.
Well, so they call us 713-244-3030. Almost forgot our phone number there for a minute. 244-3030. Reach us online, greenfinancialgrp.com.
All right. Jeff Green, Lauren Smith, of course, your friends, Claire, Hillary, Melanie, all of Green Financial Group. For all you listening, follow the podcast. You don't want to miss any show. Just listen to how much fun this one was and let your friends and family know you care by sharing.
Thank you for listening to the Green Zone podcast. Click the subscribe button below to be notified when new episodes become available. The information covered and posted represents the views and opinions of the guest and does not necessarily represent the views and opinions of Green Financial Group. The content has been made available for informational and educational purposes only. The content is not intended to be a substitute for professional investing advice. Always seek the advice of your financial advisor or other qualified financial service provider with any questions you may have regarding your investment planning. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. Green Financial Group is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. Jeff Green is the founder of Green Financial Group and is a registered principal of RJFS. The Green Financial Group is located at 6363 Woodway Drive, Suite 625, Houston, Texas, 77057, and can be reached at 713-244-3030. Raymond James is not affiliated with and does not endorse the opinions or services of his guests.